Maria stares at the screen. Leo, that's luminous. Isn't it beautiful? I sigh happily. Imagine her face. I'm trying not to, she mutters. You're really going to do this? It's vandalism, you know. Technically, I argue. It's unsolicited property beautification. Just like Diane did for me, I'm simply returning the favor, with interest and fluorescence. She shakes her head, but I can see a tiny smile playing on her lips. You're impossible. Just don't get caught? Getting caught is half the fun, I lie. Getting caught would be very, very bad. Tuesday afternoon. Pulling into my driveway after a soul-crushing day wrestling with server racks that apparently communicate exclusively in error codes. All I want is a cold beer, maybe some mindless TV, and the sweet embrace of my slightly lumpy couch. I kill the engine, grab my bag, and head for the front door, already mentally kicking off my shoes. And then I stop. Dead. My hand hovering halfway to where the doorknob should be. Something is wrong. Terribly, fundamentally wrong. My front door, which this morning was a perfectly respectable, slightly faded but dignified navy blue, a color I painstakingly chose, mind you, is now beige. Not just any beige. It's that specific shade of beige that screams suburban surrender. The color of unseasoned chicken, dentist office waiting rooms, and the souls of people who've given up on joy. It's aggressively bland, offensively inoffensive. It's beige. My brain short-circuits. Did I walk up to the wrong house? I glance at the house numbers. Nope, definitely mine. I look at the slightly crooked mailbox I keep meaning to fix. Yep, mine. I look at the sad patch of lawn I keep failing to reseed. Tragically, also mine. This is my house, and someone painted my front door beige while I was at work. I stand there on my own porch, feeling like I've slipped into an alternate dimension where good taste goes to die. Who does this? Who, in the vast, complex tapestry of human existence, decides, you know what would be a fun and totally normal thing to do today? Go paint a neighbor's door a depressing shade of beige without asking. The paint is still slightly tacky in one corner, where it dripped onto the weather stripping. It's fresh. This wasn't an overnight job by stealthy beige ninjas. This happened today, in broad daylight. My mind races through possibilities. A bizarre homeowner association mandate I missed? We don't have an HOA, thank God. A prank by neighborhood kids? Usually their pranks involve toilet paper, or maybe a rogue garden gnome, not meticulous, if soul-crushing, paint jobs. A hallucination brought on by excessive server room fumes? Possible, but unlikely. Then my eyes drift across the street, and I see her. Diane? My neighbor, Diane. Watering her pathologically neat petunias, her back mostly to me, but radiating an aura of smug satisfaction, so potent I could practically feel it vibrating the beige paint molecules on my door. Diane, the self-appointed queen of curb appeal, the guardian of neighborhood neutrality, the woman who once left a passive-aggressive note on my recycling bin because I hadn't rinsed a yogurt container sufficiently. Oh God, it was Diane. I stumble inside, dropping my bag by the now beige door. The inside of the door is still navy blue, creating a jarring two-tone effect that somehow makes the beige seem even more offensive. Maria? I call out. My girlfriend, Maria, works from home sometimes. Maybe she saw something? She comes out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. Hey, how was... She stops, her eyes fixing on the door behind me. Her jaw drops. What happened to the door? Exactly. I throw my hands up. I came home and bam, beige, aggressively beige. Beige? She walks closer, touching the inside edge where the new paint meets the old. Who? Did you hire someone? Hire someone? To paint my door the color of sadness without telling me? No, I think... I lower my voice conspiratorially, nodding towards the window that faces Diane's house. I think she did it. Maria follows my gaze. Diane is now meticulously deadheading her geraniums, still pointedly ignoring my house. Diane? Painted our door without asking? The disbelief in her voice mirrors my own initial shock. Why would she do that? Why does Diane do anything? I retort, pacing now. Remember last year when she helpfully trimmed my rose bushes into weird, lopsided shapes because she thought they were overgrown? Remember the note about the yogurt container? Remember when she told Mrs. Henderson her garden gnome was historically inaccurate? Okay, yeah, Maria concedes. She's particular and boundary challenged, but painting our door? Look at her, I point out the window. She's practically glowing with self-righteousness. She probably thinks she did us a favor, improved the aesthetic harmony or some crap. I spot a tiny, almost invisible drop of beige paint on my own porch mat, the final piece of evidence. That's it, I'm going over there. Leo, wait, Maria puts a hand on my arm. Are you sure? Maybe just calm down first? What are you going to say? I'm going to ask her why my door looks like it's given up on life. I shake her hand off gently. And then, well, I don't know, but I'm not letting this stand. Beige, it's a declaration of war. Walking across the street towards Diane's house feels like marching into battle. My house, my castle, violated by unsolicited beige. My blood is boiling, but I'm trying to keep a lid on it. Yelling won't help. Probably. Diane's house is naturally immaculate. Lawn edged with military precision. Flowers arranged in neat, color-coordinated rows. Not a stray leaf in sight. And her front door? A tasteful, utterly forgettable off-white. Her two-car garage door? Perfectly matching beige, the same soulless color currently mocking me from across the street. As I get closer, that beige garage door seems to loom larger. A blank canvas. A possibility? No, focus, Leo. Confrontation first. Retaliation later. Maybe. Diane is now fussing with a hanging basket on her porch, pretending not to have seen me approach. I step onto her pristine walkway. Diane? She turns, feigning surprise with the skill of a B-movie actress. Oh, Leo, hello! Just admiring my begonias. Aren't they lovely this year? They're fine, Diane, I say, keeping my voice level with effort. Listen, I need to ask you something. Did you happen to do anything to my front door today? She beams, clasping her hands together. Oh, you noticed? Yes, I did. First thing this morning. My jaw tightens. You noticed? Well, yes, she chirps, completely missing my tone. That old blue paint was looking so dreadfully faded, wasn't it? Positively peeling in one corner. It was really dragging down the look of the whole street, you know? Curb appeal is so important. So you decided to paint it? I ask, my voice dangerously quiet. Exactly, she says brightly. I had some leftover beige from when Bob repainted the garage trim last fall. Lovely neutral color, goes with everything. And I just thought, why not do Leo a favor? Took me hardly any time at all. Doesn't it look much fresher? Much more cohesive? Cohesive. She painted my door beige for cohesion. A favor, I repeat slowly. Diane, you painted my property without asking my permission. Her smile falters slightly, replaced by a look of mild offense. Well, I knocked, but no one answered. And it clearly needed doing, Leo. Someone had to take initiative. Honestly, I thought you'd be pleased. It looks so much more uniform now. Uniform, I echo, tasting the word like ash. You think I want my house to be uniform? I liked my blue door, Diane. Even if it was faded, it was my faded blue door. Oh, don't be dramatic, she waves a dismissive hand. Blue is such a statement color anyway. Beige is much more sophisticated, much better for resale value. I'm not selling my house. One should always be prepared, she counters primly. I was just trying to help maintain standards in our lovely neighborhood, Leo. A little proactive upkeep benefits everyone. You should really be thanking me. Thank her. She trespasses, vandalizes my door with the color of despair, and expects gratitude. Bob, Diane's perpetually browbeaten husband, appears in the doorway behind her, sees me, mouths a silent "sorry," and vanishes back inside like a beige ghost. Thank you? I can feel the lid on my anger starting to rattle. Diane, what you did was incredibly presumptuous and completely out of line. You don't just go painting other people's property. Diane draws herself up, offended now. Well, I certainly won't be doing you any more favors then. If you want to live with a peeling, garish blue door, be my guest. Some people just have no appreciation for community standards. She turns her back on me, resuming her inspection of the begonias as if I no longer exist. The conversation is clearly over. I stand there for a moment, vibrating with frustration. Then I turn and walk back across the street, my mind racing. Oh, I'll show her a statement color. She wants cohesion. She wants curb appeal. She has no idea what's coming. The beige garage door across the street seems to wink at me. Game on, Diane, game on! Back in my own beige-violated house, I fume. I pace. I rant to Maria, who listens patiently, agreeing that Diane was completely out of line, but also looking increasingly nervous about the glint in my eye. Okay, she was wrong, totally wrong, Maria says, trying to be the voice of reason. But what are you going to do? You can't just retaliate. Can't I? I stop pacing, a slow, dangerous smile spreading across my face. She painted my door beige without asking. It's only fair I return the favor, right? Tit for tat. Leo, no, what are you thinking? I'm thinking, I say, gesturing across the street towards Diane's house, that her garage door is looking awfully bland. You wouldn't, Maria breathes, eyes wide. She started it, I insist. She crossed a line. This isn't just about paint. It's about boundaries. It's about respect. It's about sending a message. What message does painting her garage send, other than my neighbor is a lunatic? It sends the message that you don't mess with Leo Miller's door, I declare, maybe a little too dramatically. She wants cohesion? Fine, her garage needs freshening up. It needs personality. It needs... My mind searches for the perfect antithesis to beige, the ultimate visual insult. Later that night, unable to sleep, I find myself scrolling through online paint color palettes. Repainting her garage beige would be too subtle. Red, too common. Yellow, too cheerful. Black, too goth. I need something that screams, something that vibrates, something that makes retinas bleed. And then I find it, under fluorescence. Neon, green, the color of alien slime in bad sci-fi movies, the color of highlighters used to mark things you absolutely cannot ignore. The color of pure, unadulterated, radioactive-looking visual assault. It's hideous. It's glorious. It's the aesthetic equivalent of a nuclear bomb detonating in Diane's carefully curated beige world. I start laughing. A slightly unhinged laugh that makes Maria look up from her book with concern. What? She asks warily. I've found it, I announce, holding up my phone to show her the glowing green swatch. The color of justice. Maria stares at the screen. Leo, that's luminous. Isn't it beautiful? I sigh happily. Imagine her face. I'm trying not to, she mutters. You're really going to do this? It's vandalism, you know. Technically, I argue, it's unsolicited property beautification. Just like Diane did for me, I'm simply returning the favor, with interest, and fluorescence. She shakes her head, but I can see a tiny smile playing on her lips. You're impossible. Just don't get caught? Getting caught is half the fun, I lie. Getting caught would be very, very bad. The next afternoon, I walk into Paint Pot Pete's, the local hardware store. I feel like a secret agent on a mission, except my mission involves acquiring paint the color of ectoplasm. I head straight for the paint counter, where a young guy with multiple piercings and bored expression is leaning against a color mixing machine. Let's call him Chad. Hey, I say, trying to sound casual. Need some exterior paint? Sure thing, Chad says without looking up. Latex, oil-based, what surface? Latex. For a standard metal garage door. Gotcha. Color? Here goes nothing. Neon green, I say, bracing myself. Chad stops scrolling on his phone. He looks up, really looks at me for the first time. Neon green? He repeats slowly, as if tasting the words. Yeah, like fluorescent green, highlighter green, the kind that hurts your eyes a little. Chad raises a pierced eyebrow. Exterior grade? Yep, enough for a standard 2-car garage door. He whistles softly. Whoa, okay man, bold, seriously bold. He leans forward conspiratorially. You piss off your HOA or something? I give him a tight, mysterious smile. Let's just say I'm involved in an aggressive neighborhood beautification project. Chad grins. Right on. Aggressive beautification. I dig it. He turns to his computer, typing. All right. Radioactive lime. Toxic Avenger green. Here we go. Biohazard blaze. That sounds about right. He fiddles with the machine, grabs a couple of gallon cans of base paint, and starts adding alarming-looking pigments. The machine whirs and shakes. This stuff is gonna glow, dude. Seriously, might need sunglasses. He puts the lids on, shakes the cans vigorously, and hands them over. 2 gallons of biohazard blaze. That'll be $68.50. I pay, feeling a thrill course through me. Holding these cans feels like holding weapons of mass visual destruction. Good luck with the beautification, Chad calls after me as I walk out, the heavy cans banging against my legs. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Beautifully awful. That night, I wait. I watch Diane's house like a hawk. Lights go off around 10:30 p.m. Bob's car is in the driveway, Diane's white SUV snug in the garage, ironically. Perfect. Around 1 a.m., when the neighborhood is cloaked in that specific dead-of-night silence, I slip into my garage. Mission prep. I change into old, dark clothes, grab the cans of biohazard blaze, a roller, an extension pole, a paint tray, and a cheap brush for edging. Though neatness isn't exactly my top priority tonight. I forgo drop cloths, speed and stealth over tidiness. My heart is pounding. This is stupid. This is potentially illegal. Okay, definitely illegal vandalism. But the image of Diane's face encountering a neon green garage door in the morning sun fuels me. The beige injustice must be avenged. Maria appears at the garage door, wrapped in her robe. Leo, are you really doing this? She whispers, her voice tight with worry. Shh. Yes, I whisper back frantically. It's happening. Operation Acid Wash is a go. Operation Acid Wash? She raises an eyebrow. Did you really name it? Focus, Maria. Stand guard. Whistle if you see anyone. She sighs. Fine, but if the cops come, I'm pretending I'm asleep. And you owe me big time. Deal. I grab my supplies and slip out the side door into the darkness. Sneaking across the street feels ridiculously cloak and dagger. I stick to the shadows, moving quickly. The air is cool and still. A dog barks once, far down the block, making me freeze like a startled raccoon. False alarm. I reach Diane's driveway. Her house is dark and silent. The beige garage door looms before me, practically invisible in the dim light from the distant street lamp. It's perfect. With trembling hands, I pry open the first can of Biohazard Blaze. Even in the dark, the color seems to pulse with an unholy energy. The smell, sharp, chemical, hits my nostrils. I pour a generous amount into the paint tray, dip the roller, and take a deep breath. The first stroke, roller meets beige and leaves behind a streak of shocking, impossible green. Holy crap! It's bright! Even in the near darkness, it seems to glow. Adrenaline surges through me. I start rolling faster, covering the bland beige with wide, sweeping strokes of neon vengeance. The roller makes a soft squish thump sound against the metal door, unnervingly loud in the silence. I work frantically, glancing nervously up and down the street. Headlights. A car turns onto our block. I dive behind Diane's perfectly sculpted ornamental shrubbery, heart pounding, paint roller clutched like a weapon. The car cruises past slowly, then continues on. Close call. I scramble back out and resume painting. Section by section, the beige disappears, replaced by the glowing green monstrosity. It takes maybe 20 minutes, working at top speed, my arms starting to ache. I do a quick, messy job with the brush around the edges. It's not a professional job by any means. There are probably drips, some uneven patches, but the overall effect is undeniable. It is aggressively, unequivocally neon green. I quickly gather up my tray, roller, and the now lighter paint cans. I take one last look at my handiwork. A giant, glowing green rectangle dominating the front of Diane's otherwise immaculate house. A giddy, slightly hysterical laugh bubbles up, but I stifle it. Time to retreat. I sneak back across the street, dump the supplies in my garage trash can, strip off my paint-speckled clothes, and creep into the house. Maria is waiting in the living room, pacing. "Done?" she whispers. I nod, grinning maniacally. Operation complete. The Eagle has landed. The garage is green. "Oh God, Leo." She buries her face in her hands. "What have you done?" "Justice," I whisper back, feeling a profound, if deeply immature, sense of satisfaction. Fluorescent justice. I barely sleep. I'm buzzing with adrenaline and the lingering fumes of Biohazard Blaze. I'm up before dawn, lurking near my front window, peeking through the blinds like a paranoid spy. As the first rays of sun hit the houses, the full glory of my handiwork is revealed. Oh, my God. It's even brighter in daylight. It's not just green. It's an assault on the optic nerve. It seems to hum with its own internal energy. Birds flying past seem to veer away from it. It's magnificent. It's horrifying. I make coffee, my hands shaking slightly. I wait. 7 a.m. 7:15 a.m. Come on, Diane. Time for your ritualistic newspaper retrieval or power walk. 7:28 a.m. Diane's front door opens. She steps out onto her porch, dressed in crisp Lululemon, ready to face the day and judge the neighborhood. She bends down to pick up her perfectly delivered newspaper. And then she freezes. Her head snaps up. Her eyes fix on her garage. The transformation is incredible to watch, even from across the street. First, confusion wrinkles her brow. Then, utter disbelief widens her eyes. Her jaw drops, literally hangs open. She takes a step back, as if physically repulsed by the color. Her face cycles through shock, outrage, and finally, incandescent fury. And then comes the shriek. It's not a scream of fear. It's a shriek of pure, unadulterated, "How dare the universe inflict this color upon my personal property?" Rage. It echoes down the quiet, suburban street, probably setting off car alarms 3 blocks away. Windows start lighting up in neighboring houses. Curtains twitch. Showtime. Before the echo of her shriek has even faded, Diane is marching across her lawn and onto the street, pointing a trembling finger at my house. Bob appears behind her, looking pale and deeply wishing he could evaporate. She doesn't bother knocking. She pounds on my still beige front door with both fists. Bang, bang, bang! I take a deep breath, compose my face into an expression of mild, neighborly concern, and open the door. "Leo Miller!" she screeches, her face flushed crimson, clashing horribly with the neon green backdrop across the street. "You did this! You monster! My garage! Look at my garage! It's green!" "Good morning, Diane," I say calmly, taking a sip of my coffee. "Wow, what happened over there? Looks like you had some vandals pay a visit." "Terrible. This neighborhood is really going downhill." I try to inject just the right amount of faux sympathy into my voice. Her eyes bulge. "Vandals? Don't you lie to me, Leo Miller. This has your petty, childish fingerprints all over it. This is because I painted your ugly blue door, isn't it? Isn't it?" "My door?" I feign confusion. "Oh, you mean the unsolicited beige paint job you gave me without permission? Gosh, I'd almost forgotten about that minor act of property violation. But this," I gesture towards her glowing garage. "This seems much more serious. Did you call the police?" "I'm calling them right now!" she shrieks, whipping out her phone and stabbing at the screen with a trembling finger. "And I'm calling my lawyer and the HOA. We don't have an HOA, but Diane lives in eternal hope. And Bob, say something." Bob just shrinks further behind her, muttering something that sounds like, "Oh dear." Neighbors are definitely out now. Mrs. Gable is filming on her phone. Mr. Henderson, yes, that Henderson from the bird feeder war, apparently bad neighbors flock together, is standing on his lawn, actually smiling. Predictably, 2 police cruisers arrive within minutes. It's Davies and Rodriguez. Of course it is. Officer Davies gets out of the car, sees the neon green garage, sees Diane practically levitating with rage, sees me standing calmly in my doorway holding a coffee mug, and visibly sighs. The sigh of a man contemplating a career change to lighthouse keeping. "Okay," Officer Davies says, walking towards the epicenter of the drama. "What is going on here?" Diane launches into a high-pitched, nearly incoherent explanation involving beige paint, blue paint, vandalism, property values, emotional distress, and neon green. She points accusingly at me. Officer Rodriguez approaches me. "Sir," he says quietly, "did you paint your neighbor's garage door neon green?" I consider my options. Deny everything? Point out her prior transgression? I opt for calm ambiguity. "Officer, as you can see, my neighbor Diane seems quite upset about her garage. Earlier this week, she took it upon herself to paint my front door beige without my permission. Perhaps you should ask her about that." The cops exchange a look. The look says, "It's 8 a.m. on a Wednesday, and we're mediating a paint fight between grown adults." "Ma'am," Officer Davies says to Diane, trying to inject some calm. "Painting your neighbor's property without permission is also potentially vandalism or criminal mischief." "But mine was beige," Diane protests, as if this is a mitigating factor. "It was an improvement. His is an abomination." "Okay," Officer Davies pinches the bridge of his nose. "Here's what's going to happen. Ma'am, you can file a police report regarding the damage to your garage." "Sir," he looks at me, "she can also file a report regarding you potentially painting her garage, and you could potentially file one regarding her painting your door. This is likely going to end up as a civil matter between the two of you, possibly involving insurance or small claims court. We cannot force him to repaint your garage right now. He gives us both a hard look. I strongly suggest you both try to resolve this like adults before it escalates further. Have a nice day. They get back in their cruisers and drive away, leaving Diane sputtering and me feeling a dangerous sense of triumph. The neon green garage glows mockingly in the morning sun. The days that follow are tense. The neon green garage door becomes the undisputed landmark of our block. People slow down their cars to stare. Teenagers take selfies in front of it. I overhear snippets of conversation. Did you see the green garage? Some kind of neighbor feud? Tacky, but kind of hilarious. Diane does not take it well. She gets multiple estimates for repainting, each painter likely stifling laughter or charging a hazard fee for dealing with that color. She tapes one of the estimates to my still beige front door with a threatening note about small claims court. I ignore it. The neighborhood becomes divided. Team Beige, mostly Diane, Bob, and maybe Henderson, who just enjoys conflict. And Team Neon, mostly people who find Diane annoying and the situation funny, communicating their support through subtle nods or amused smirks. Maria walks on eggshells, alternating between telling me I'm crazy and giggling when she catches sight of the garage. I eventually repaint my own door. Not back to navy blue, not beige. I choose a deep, respectable forest green. A subtle nod, perhaps. Or maybe just because I like forest green. The neon green garage stays neon green for nearly 2 weeks, a radiant testament to the feud. Then, one Saturday morning, professional painters arrive at Diane's house. They tape everything off meticulously, and by lunchtime, the garage is back to its original, soul-crushing beige. The neighborhood breathes a collective, slightly disappointed sigh. The spectacle is over. Things are quiet for a while, awkwardly quiet. Diane and I actively avoid each other. If we pass on the street, we stare straight ahead. Bob gives me apologetic little waves when Diane isn't looking. Did I win? I don't know. It cost Diane time, money, and considerable aggravation to fix my retaliation. It cost me $68.50 for paint, a sleepless night, and the lingering possibility of a small claim summons, which never actually materializes. Maybe a month later I'm taking out the trash cans. Diane is retrieving her mail. We end up at the curb simultaneously. It's the first time we've been this close since the greening. We both freeze. "Leo," she says stiffly, not looking at me. "Diane," I reply, equally stiffly. There's a long, awkward pause. "My begonias," she says finally, still staring at her mail, "are looking quite nice this year." "Yes," I say, looking towards her perfect flower bed. "They are." Another pause. "That forest green on your door," she adds, her voice barely audible. "It's acceptable." It's the closest thing to an apology, or maybe just a truce flag, I'm ever going to get. And maybe, just maybe, it's enough. "Thanks, Diane," I say. "Your garage looks very beige again." She gives a tiny, almost imperceptible nod and scurries back inside. I wheel my trash can back up the driveway. The war is over. No victors, just survivors. And a lingering memory of glorious, radioactive, biohazard blaze green. Was it worth it? Probably not. Was it satisfying? Absolutely. And I have a feeling Diane won't be doing any more favors with a paintbrush anytime soon. Some lessons, apparently, need to be learned in neon.